Thanks again for coming. Lincoln is very excited. He wore his Lion suit. Um, just for you two guys. But yeah, we're excited that you were able to do this, and we appreciate it and thank you. And there's a bunch of faculty and friends of the program that wanted to jump in to see both you guys. So it means the world to us that you're able to do this, and it's been fun. We've had a couple great conversations. Austrian, we talked to AJ and Jonathan Gerard the first week, so that was interesting. And then we had another Temple guy, a guy named Ray Davis, who's playing there now, running back.
He's pretty good.
Last week. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody. If people have questions, just put them on the chat, especially the guys. If you guys want to chime in, coaches, again, like I can't mute Coach Karate. He does what he wants. But everybody else, I'm going to mute. And if you do have a question, just kind of raise your hand. We'll go. And I'll kind of like kick it around. But again, like this has been a great thing. So I do want to say that to the team, both these guys, Coach Karate was giving me kind of a lowdown, Derek, on your story. And he was telling me today that, both you guys came in here thanks to Coach Cass and the basketball coaches as basketball first players. And so to me, like, you guys have a common theme right there, just right off the bat. But take me through that as you come into Trinity-Pawling as basketball recruits, and maybe start with Derek. And then when did that, like, all of a sudden transition? Take me through that whole process where you're thinking you're going to go play basketball somewhere. I think Coach said you were a 1-year senior, and next thing you know, like, you're going to play college football.
It was when I came in, football was part of the play for me. I've spent most of my life playing basketball. I had just won a state championship at Peachfield High School when I was in the Trinity-Pawling. So basketball was kind of where a lot of people knew me for. I had most of my accolades in high school up until I got to TP. I did want to play football. That's part of the big reason why I went to Trinity-Pawling in the first place, because I wanted to be able to play football for another year. I felt like the main focus for me was more not more education. Like, I wanted to go somewhere where I knew the curriculum was going to be top notch and get me ready for college. So the sport at that time, basketball probably was number one, but I mean, I never ruled out football. But Coach Karate was on me every day, kept putting it in my ear like, hey, this football might be your ticket. He used to talk to me a lot about another alumni, Charles Spencer, who I'm good friends with. He's from Poughkeepsie, New York. He was another big kid, basketball, ended up playing football, being a third-round pick, Texas, I think. And he used to always tell me stories about Charles Spencer. Like, Spencer came here thinking he was a basketball player too, and, he wanted to do great things in football. And a lot of the recruiting and stuff that I was getting was due to Coach Karate, man. He just pretty much told me, like, schools are calling for you, but I'm not going to tell them much unless you tell me that was something you do. And I think it kind of the switch flipped for me when I think after the third game of the season, he moved me to O-line because I thought I was a tight end D. And he came to me one game and he was like, listen, we having trouble with the O-line. We had a good running back and Kevin Walker. And he was like, I need you to, you know what I'm saying, you want to do something, be a team player, do something team, I need you to play O-line. And I was like, you know what, all right, Coach, cool, I'll play O-line. And kind of, the team started doing well after that. And after that, he just looked at me and was like, I told you, this is it, play O-line in football. And that's kind of where it started for me.
How much convincing, Derek, did I have to do to your parents?
A lot. A lot. I think it took until like midway through basketball season when I finally was like, all right, yeah, maybe let's get this football thing.
Austrian, talk to me, talk to us. You came in as a basketball recruit. I was even told maybe you were going out for the lowers team. That was my first year. I remember seeing this giant kid in the old faculty introductions, and he was going down to play lowers. Somehow Coach Hoffman got a hold of you, and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna get this guy the ball." Tell us that whole process.
So like when I first got there, I played basketball all my life. I didn't play any football. So when I got there, it was like, oh, Coach Karate. I see him at like lunch, I think, and he was like, oh, after school, come to practice. Like we got varsity practice. But in my head, I was like, nah, I'm going JV. Like I'm not going to play football. So went over to practice to JV. Came and got me from over there. I think it was him or Brennan. So that didn't last long at all. Then just started playing football. Started liking it quick, and it was just like it was something I liked to do. So it was just like, especially going, just waiting to play basketball. So it was just like there was something different, and it was fun at the same time. So I enjoyed it. And then that's when I had a talk with Loft that spring. He was like, hey, I would like it if you took it a little serious. Like, you could actually help us a lot. So then it was like that. But Coach Casson, my guy forever, he was definitely persistent with trying to get me to come play basketball for him. So I appreciate him forever because it was just like he was a great mentor and everything to me while I was there. So it was fun. It was definitely fun.
Awesome. Let me back up, man. Let me just check in with you guys. I know there's tons of stuff going on. Austrian had some big news. Derek, you were with the Guards. You were talking a little bit earlier when we first got on with each other. But how are you doing? How's your families? Is everybody safe? Like, give us maybe Derek just start. Like, how you doing with all this stuff?
I'm good, man. I can't complain. The sports thing, everything is kind of up in the air, especially at least for me in terms of probably going back up to Canada and play football again. Nobody really knows how that's going to go because our season starts a little sooner than the NFL season. But, I mean, right now, football, it's kind of an afterthought for me right now. I've played pro football the last 7-8 years, so I'm focusing now. I got a 2-year-old son. I got a daughter that's due next month, so I'm just kind of focusing on being a dad and taking care of home. And that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
And then also, like, how's your family? Obviously, a crazy week for you. Again, that's another reason why I appreciate you doing this. But how's everybody in the city? Like, how's your family there? Like, talk to us.
Well, I talk to my family back in the city every day. Literally, my mom waiting on me to call her back. Actually, I talk to my brothers. I talk with them. So then, my girlfriend and my son, they stay with me right now. We like back and forth between here and her parents' house. So they went back there today because she wanted to spend some time with the people when I had some stuff, my iPad and everything going there. So she went to go get that. But we were staying safe and just really just social distancing. I hate it because I like being outside doing stuff. So, but we just got to do it for now.
Yeah, man. Hey, Austin, take us through this week. The draft goes through. I know you were kind of on the fringe, and guys were kind of talking maybe he'll go undrafted free agency, and I've heard in my experience that sometimes if you're going to go in the late rounds, sometimes it's better to be an undrafted free agent because then you got a chance to maybe pick and choose the situation you got. But tell us, like, how'd that feel like when you got that phone call? Maybe take us through that.
It was definitely it was like exciting, but at the same time, like you were a little disappointed. But when I was talking to him, I talked to him before the draft, and they were telling me how they wanted to pick me up. But as I was watching it, and I was seeing like probably one of the D linemen I was supposed to go pretty high, he wasn't getting drafted. Nobody else got drafted. I was like, all right, it looked like we all going drafted. So then I was talking to the Rams at first. I was literally about to get into signing, like talking about a deal to go to Los Angeles. But then the Panthers, because I had talked to Matt Rule from high school and stuff, and I started talking to him, and it was just like, they had the best deal for me to do. It wasn't like really like just a tryout, but it was like a good deal for a few years. So I looked at that like that, and then the location. I had teammates there. I got 2 teammates there already, and then I got one that's going with me. He's from New Jersey, so I just looked at that like a better option. And they didn't take a lot of dudes in my position as undrafted free agent, so it was like I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah. Derek, was Matt Rule at Temple when you were there?
Yes, he was. he was a position coach when I was there, and he served as my offensive coordinator for 1 year. And he was pretty much there my whole Temple career. So all four or 5 years I was at Temple coach there. So I know him well.
That's awesome. Derek, can you do me a favor? Like, I think it's important for these guys to talk about like the recruiting process. And I know I have a few stories because we were with Austrian doing it, but I mean, you talked about Sacred Heart and then you end up at Temple, and I'm sure there's other guys involved, Derek, but take us through the recruiting side of going to play major Division I football and just, the goods, the bads, your thoughts on that whole recruiting process.
Yeah, my football recruiting process was it's kind of simple. I mean, for me, when I was going through the whole recruiting process, I had football and I had school coming for basketball, and even schools like Army and Sacred Heart and a couple other schools, they would offer me to let me play both. They'll give me like split half scholarship, half football, half basketball, and then I play both sports. But just from talking to people and just thinking about how college life was, and, I figured it would probably be real tough to play 2 Division I sports in college at the same time, especially contrast with basketball and football in terms of like conditioning and stuff like that. It's just 2 totally different things. But how I ended up at Temple was the year before when I was at Peekskill, I had an AAU coach that I played for in the city. He coached at a high school called Holy Cross, and I played him in basketball that season. And he kind of asked me just for some film. And I had only played maybe a year of football. My first year ever playing football in life, I didn't really know what I was doing. It was kind of just, they gave me shoulder pads and a helmet, told me to go out there, run around, and just follow the ball. That's all I really did. So I ended up, long story short, he made me a little highlight tape and sent it out. And I started getting recruiting letters from like UVA, Penn State, Boston College, like real big schools. And my mind was like Coach Garage said earlier, my mind was always set on basketball. So even though I had these big schools recruiting football, in my mind I was still chasing basketball scholarships. So Temple, Al Golden was actually the defensive coordinator at UVA when I started getting recruited by them. So when he left UVA, got the head coaching job at Temple, I was still on his radar. So he kind of, kept tabs on me, kept recruiting. When they came in to recruit me, they made multiple visits. They pretty much made it like well known that they wanted me there. They felt like I could be a good football player. I took my official visit to Philly with my parents, and me being a New York City kid, Philly just felt kind of like home. It was like an extension of New York City. So I just felt real comfortable on campus. But I mean, if anybody knows anything about Temple and been there, that's not the safest. It wasn't the safest campus in the world at the time, but me being from New York City, it just felt comfortable. So I kind of committed right there after my official visit and started putting my focus in football when I got back to school, and it's kind of just where everything went for me.
I appreciate that. And Austin, I'm gonna tell a quick story. I remember I think it was Miami. It might have been Maryland as well, but I used to do the shot clock or the game clock for the basketball teams when you guys had games, and for some reason a basketball game got rescheduled. I think it was snowed. It got snowed out, and they got rescheduled for like a Monday. So you had multiple coaches come in, and when college coaches come in, they cannot talk to an athlete before the competition. So they were there at like 10 in the morning, 11 in the morning, and those guys had to wait around the entire day to talk to Austrian. And for whatever reason, the game was it was late for whatever reason. Like, I don't know, Billy, if you remember this, but it was like at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. So I'm doing the scoreboard, and I remember, Austin, you came over to me after the game, and I said, hey, I'm going to take off. I'm going to go see my family. And you just looked at me like, don't leave me here. Like, don't leave me here with these guys. Not that you didn't appreciate it and not that you didn't like those guys, but it was like, I think at that point it was like 9 o'clock at night. I'm sure you didn't eat dinner just because you had a basketball game. But Austrian, talk to me. I mean, from my memory, it was like it went from 0 to 100 miles per hour in like 2 seconds. And I thought throughout the whole process, you were humble. You handled yourself well. You were honest with people, and it just went crazy. But talk to me about that process?
No, I remember that game. It was a game, like it was a good game actually. I think we won too. And it was just like
If you ask Coach Cashin, you definitely won.
it was like 3 schools there, and I was like, I'm thinking about it already. I'm like, all right, so like, who do I talk to first? But I'm like, how do I talk to somebody first? And I like really trying to say like this who I rather or whatever. But then my mom was just like, just be easy with it. Just go on. Just go ahead. Just do it. So we started talking, and it was forever. I'm telling you, because I was like, dinner's probably over with. Like, I was already talking. Like, we was in study hall. I was like, yeah, tonight. Just, I don't know where the night went, but the whole thing started like, I don't even remember how I got my junior year, I think. I had like a highlight tape. Somebody probably made it. And then you called me and was like, hey, have you been talking to schools? And I'm like, I ain't talking to nobody. Like, I'm getting ready for AAU basketball. Same like Dennis, I played like EYBL, played in that league. So we just like, I was getting ready for that. And then like, I think Maryland was the first one. And then a few more started coming. But then like, once that senior season hit, it just like took off. I was like, well, like, I didn't think it would have happened like that or even been that many schools.
Now, Derek, going to, like, as you said, when you got to Temple, Al Golden was coming in as for his first year, right? And forgive me, all the Temple alum, but Temple was not good at that point, right?
No, we were horrible. I think they won one game.
And I've listened to Al Golden speak, and again, like, I've always been impressed by him, but he changed that whole thing around. So tell us about like that, like being there ground zero and then like building that whole program up to what it is today, which is, you know, nationally competitive.
What I tell people all the time is, I think borderline. I think Coach Golden was breaking a lot of NCAA rules because the way we worked there was just like out of this world, man. We trained all year round. It was probably the hardest workouts that I've probably ever been a part of in life. Just some of the stuff we did. We had like conditioning tests at least 4 times a year, and they always were different conditioning tests. But I think it was just his way of like preparing guys for the environment that we were in, 1, and 2, just trying to change the culture and the mindset of how people view Temple football program as a whole. And we kind of built this whole moniker of like, now you hear today, Temple Tough and, you know, 10th and Diamond and you know, diamonds, acres of diamonds and all that stuff. That was just kind of the motto that coach was like kind of building into the mindset. And I think just the type of players he recruited a lot of Northeast kids who came probably rough backgrounds, who were prepared to deal with the environment. Because I remember my freshman year practicing, kids in the neighborhood would throw rocks at us. People would drive by and scream, you know, obscenities to us to tell us how bad we were. Like, it's probably one of the hardest cities to ever play a sport in, college or professional, because their fan bases are just, they're brutal, man. If you're good, they're gonna let you know you're good. If you're bad, they're gonna let you know you're bad. So we just had to deal with a lot of stuff. I think a lot of other colleges didn't have to deal with, you know, especially going on a campus that's in North Philadelphia. There was like shootouts going on while we would be outside practicing, like just all types of crazy stuff that you wouldn't normally deal with at big college football programs. So I think the way he ran us and he organized us and coached guys up, and the mentality of the guys that he brought into the program just kind of helped change that whole culture around. So now when you look at Temple football, you know, you think about, all the guys being drafted, being in the top 25 in college football one year, and Coach Rule coming, stuff Coach Rule did when he came to become head coach. Like, it's kind of like we kind of laid the groundwork. So it's me as an alumni, it's kind of great to see what the program is now and the type of kids that are coming into the program and just kind of living on that moniker that pretty much was built off of the backs of guys like me when we came into Temple at that time.
And take us through there, like, so you go from Temple, obviously you have a great career, and then you move on to the pro game, and you're with some NFL teams. You're going from camp to camp. Like, give us that transition, like from Temple, and then what was right after that.
The transition, it was rough because I think what I didn't realize, I wish I thought about it as I was coming out of high school to college, is that when you leave high school and you go to college, at that point, yeah, you're still in school. You know, you're on scholarship, you're getting education. But at the end of the day, it's still kind of in a business sense where, like, coaches rely on the students to play well. You know, you got to make sure you get your grades, doing good in school, and being able to manage being a football player full-time while being a full-time student. And just kind of managing that lifestyle and understanding and then get to the program, the pro game was just kind of like, it was dog eat dog, man. Like, you go from being, you know, one of the best players on your college team to now you're in the pro team and everybody's good. Everybody's fast, everybody's quick, everybody's talented, everybody's smart. And you got to just find different ways to kind of separate yourself from the pack. It's kind of hard because it's a lot of dudes. You know, you got veterans who have been in the league for a long time, and it's such a churning machine that there's new bodies coming in every year. There's guys coming for your spot every year, so you always got to find ways to compete and stay on top of your game. And I think the biggest transition that I had making from college to the pro game was that I had to realize that how much of a full-time job it was to be able to stay on top of my playbook, know it better than the coach knows it. You know, going out there and going in a 2-hour practice and playing like my hair is on fire every day, not just in games, but in practice as well, because everything you do in the pro game is critiqued, and that kind of determines whether you keep your job or not. So it's not just about what you do on the field. It's also about how you carry yourself in the locker room with your teammates. It's about how you interact with your coaches. It's about how you handle media, how you handle fans, how you handle yourself in the public when you're not around the team and stuff. All of those things are taken into consideration when you get to the pro game. And it's kind of the same thing that you have to do in college, that I think some guys kind of fall off that sense because they're still thinking in that mindset where I'm in school, I'm doing schoolwork, I'm not getting paid to do it. But essentially, you know, your scholarship is payment for you to, you know, do what you got to do on the field and do what you got to do in the class. So I think making that transition was probably the hardest part for me, realizing how much it takes and how much you have to do in order to, like, stay on top of the pro game. Because, I mean, it's a lot of guys, top 2% professional football players in the world, man. It's not the easiest thing to do. And it's a very short-term career. So you always got to do and find different ways to put yourself ahead of the pack.
Thanks, Derek. Awesome. Like, you make a decision. It surprised me, to be honest. Like, I thought maybe Maryland, to be honest, if I had to, just because your relationship with Lyndon Johnson and whatever. But you go, a kid from Harlem goes down to Ole Miss. Like, why?
So I was talking to Wayne about this, like, the last few days when I was really deciding, because I didn't know, like, it was either Miami, Ole Miss, or Maryland, and it was really like Maryland, Ole Miss. But, like, I just told him, I was like, bro, like, everybody says they see football as the best, you know, in the South, like, they take football real serious. Everybody's big there. Like, as I started watching games and stuff, I was like, everybody's fast, everybody's good down there. So I was just like, if you want to do this for real, like, seriously, go at it. Like, you might as well just go ahead, try to see if you can make it down there and go from there. Because it's just like I don't like really like short selling myself, where it's like I'd rather take the hardest route and then see from there. It was like plenty of times people be like, but you could have went to like Syracuse or UConn or BC or something, and it would have been easier. Like, cause they watched me hit it, like, you good, but I was just like, at the same time, I wouldn't learn what I learned being down here. Like, I learned playing against, like, Larry Tunsil, playing against him like that, like AJ Brown, cool with him, just like a pro mindset and stuff, how to carry yourself, how to work, just seeing them take it serious, like how it means so much to everybody down here. Like, football is like religion. And it's like not playing football a lot at all as a kid. I was like, you just need to be surrounded by football.
Awesome. Like, what was the best part of playing at Ole Miss?
The best part, just like, it's a lot. I ain't gonna lie. It's a lot. But it's just like, probably just like, after the game, just like, especially after a win. Like, I'm not gonna lie, win or lose, it would be nice. But after a win, just like, when you know you can walk everywhere, like, you could go everywhere if you lose, but it's not gonna feel the same but like just like everybody know who you are. So it's like it don't matter if you go to Walmart. It doesn't matter where you are. Like people gonna be looking at you, like I'm talking. Like it's crazy that like people really know you. It's like they follow everything you do, like through everything. Like everybody, old people, everybody. It's just like they on social media. They into everything.
Talk to me about, like, it seemed like you had a good relationship with Coach Luke. You know, he seemed like a guy's guy, like a player's guy. He had a tough, you know, like a tough run this past year. Like he's on the hot seat the whole year. Talk to us about that season. You know, like you're coming back. You know, you're trying to, you know, obviously you guys are trying to win. You know, trying to keep his job. Like, what did you feel like? What was your level of burden there?
So like this year was just like, especially this last year, he had 3 years, but this last year was just like, all right, it was no coaches from the freeze days like that. He couldn't get rid of because of contracts, stuff like that. It's just like so much politics stuff that like went into it that he really couldn't control, but it was happening while he was the coach. So it was pressure on him to like early just make it. But everybody was like, that's why I used to always look at it from like a business perspective. And I'm like, he came with this job, like he doesn't have as many scholarships. You're going through this, so like a lot of people ain't gonna really want to come here like that. Like it's only so many that are really sticking out. And I learned that just being here, like watching people transfer and stuff, still stay in contact with them, but it's just like you just see it. Like once you leave high school, it's really like it's a business, and it's just like the more you go, it's more business. It's always a business, but it was. I felt like just playing every week. It was just like just such a scope where it was just like he couldn't. I don't know if he was being like conservative or like just didn't want to hear what people would say, but it was just like it just felt like it was just always we were always on the hot seat. So it was just week after week, you don't know what was gonna happen. Every year after the season, it was just like you don't know what could happen. Who might be there, who might not be there.
Yeah, it's got to be tough. Coach Karate's still here, so you always count on that. Derek, 2016, you were named the CFL's most outstanding lineman of the year. How did that feel?
It was great. To be honest, the year before that, I didn't really know what direction my football career was going. I had just got released by the Panthers in April, like right before we had started OTAs. I ended up in arena ball for a couple months. And the arena ball thing, like, it was cool, but it just kind of took away some of the luster, the love of playing the game and continuing to chase the dream. So after I finished the arena season, didn't really know what I was going to do. And I got a call maybe about 2 weeks after the arena season ended to come up to Canada last minute for the 2015 season. Ended up, you know, signing up there, playing the rest of the season. And then the next year, I kind of just made like a promise to myself where like I felt like kind of with my back against the wall, it's probably the last chance to kind of make something happen in my pro football career. And I just kind of just overly committed myself to just making myself the best football player I could be. I told myself, you know, before the season's over, I'm at least put myself in contention to win the award. And just kind of went out and did it. So when I got it, it was just more like a self pat on the back, like, you know, everything I sacrificed, all the hours in the gym, you know, just putting in double sessions a day and working out 6 days a week and just completely grinding and committing myself to just everything I could do to make myself a better football player. It just kind of just paid off, and it just showed me, you know, how much work it took to make yourself a good football player, and you overly commit yourself mentally to something, and you know your body kind of just follows, and you kind of sweep things into existence. So it was like a real highlight of my career, man.
Congratulations. That's awesome. I think that, you know, again, as a coach, especially with, you know, this team and our guys, you're just younger, you know, you're a little bit less mature, and we got a great bunch of guys, and these kids are working their butts off. But I always think they always, especially in the world we live in, Derek, like with the Twitter stuff and Snapchats and TikTok and all this stuff, like they always see the results. They always see the outcome, but they don't see how much you're working. So like the 2016 most outstanding lineman of the year. Like, you got to earn that. They're picking one dude, right? Like, and that doesn't just happen. Like, you got to work your tail off. And so the 6 day a week kind of thing, Derek, to me is like, it's about the work, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think the thing I try to let younger players know is that it's not always about physical talent, because I didn't just train my body, but I also trained my mind as well. And I think the biggest hurdle of an athlete to overcome physical circumstances is when you have a certain mentality and a certain mindset, how you approach things and how you attack things. It just kind of it shows. Like I kind of built that mentality that year to just know that going to school I was going against, no matter who was across from me, no matter what name they had or what was on their resume, I never allowed myself to think somebody was better than me. I just went out there with a fever pitch and a mindset that I was just going to do anything mentally, physically possible to just put great things on film. And I think I lacked that as a younger player, the mental part of the game that a lot of guys lose sight of, because when you get mentally smarter, the game slows down for you and it becomes a lot easier. So when you put work in the film room, you put work in on the playbook, same thing like as you do in school when you doing homework. Homework is supposed to build that mental capacity for you to retain information. If you can do that as well on the football field, it helps your game a lot. And I think that's the biggest part of 2016 that I learned as a football player was how much mental capacity it takes to make yourself a great football player outside of just the physical stuff.
That's awesome. Aus, you guys are going into Tuscaloosa. Talk to me about the mental side of that. You're playing in SEC. Everybody says is the best football in the country. Week in and week out, you're going against some of the best guys in the entire country. Talk about the mental approach there, Aus.
Just, you got to know that. And I used to try to preach that a lot while I was here. It's just like, hey, every week, like somebody trying to get paid, like everybody trying to get paid. Somebody's trying to make it, everybody trying to win. So it's just like, you got to bring it. Even with smaller schools that would play, I'm like, this their opportunity to play with the big dogs. So it's like, we can't slack off, especially like them 11 a.m. games. It's just like, nobody want to be out there, but it's just like, I take it like that since I played AAU. Like, I always liked the early games because just like, people still sleep. But I'm like, nah, I'm trying to get up on them early. But going into Tuscaloosa, that's like, it's probably bigger than playing in the NFL game. Real talk, like it's gonna be packed. It's like 110,000, I think. They get a first down, anything. It's rumbling in there. There, LSU, everywhere. It's like A&M, Texas A&M. That's a great atmosphere. It was good when we played at the NRG Stadium out in the Texans. We played Texas Tech. That was fun because our fans travel. Playing in Cal, it was different. It was just playing at this level, just like allowed me to go a few places and see stuff I probably wouldn't have saw that I didn't see already. But it was fun to see some of this stuff. Like you see some of the different cultures, you see how they talk, everything. It's
fun. Coach Karate's got a couple questions.
Yeah, one for each of them. First, Austrian, we were talking about awards. Tell everybody about the Chucky Mullins Courage Award, what that is, and how you felt and how when they announced it that it was you.
So the Chucky Mullins Courage Award, it's awarded every year to somebody on defense. It's a guy that I think like back, it was during the 80s, I think, or the 90s. I can never remember. He passed away playing in the game. He made a big hit and he just like got paralyzed and eventually passed away. So every year somebody on defense is awarded it. Like it's almost like a team captain award. So like this spring going in, just knowing like how everybody is and how I am with everybody, I was just like cool with everybody. People respect me. But I'm thinking like never thinking about the award. I'm just like I'm ready to get to the next season. So it's just like so as it goes, and it's like you got to participate in the spring. So like if you're hurt, it'd probably be hard for you to get it, but you got to be participating. And I kept getting banged up a little bit, like had some with my elbow, had some with my foot. So then, but I never missed a day. And then tell me I was coming in one day, like the last week of spring practice, And Coach Luke, I guess he was looking for me, and I just literally drove up to the facility, and he was just like, "Hey, come to my office real quick." And I'm like, "All right, bro, like, what's going on? We're probably talking about practice or something." It's like, what we gonna do in practice? And he was just like, "Hey, I just want to let you know you got the award." And I was just looking at him. Like, I was stuck for a minute. I was just like, I thought it was gonna be a DB this year because it's just so many good DBs we had that was gonna be seniors. I was like, man, another D lineman. That's crazy. Because when I was here, already one of my teammates that I'm about to go with at the Panthers, he had it 2 years ago. And then another person, my red shirt freshman year, he had it. He was a defensive lineman too. So I was just like, that's crazy. And me and Coach Luke, we just like, as I went on kid building, it was just like we got better as a relationship. So it was just like, it was crazy because it was just like he would just watch everything. It was just like, but a lot of it came from high school, just like not wanting to be. I just hate losing, so it was just like I always wanted to fix it.
Oh, congrats. And hey, Derek, one of the real characters to me in the coaching world is Coach DeLeon. And as you know, he was one of the guys that recruited you, and he was there the first year you were there. He's an offensive line coach. Tell me about working with Coach DeLeon.
Coach DeLeon, I love Coach DeLeon. It's probably like one of my favorite O-line coaches I ever played for. Because, like, off the field, he's such a, like, soft-spoken, nice, you know, he makes you feel, like, real friendly approach. But when he would touch a football field, he turned into, like, a whole other person. Like, he was, like, screaming 24/7, running around everywhere. But, like, technique-wise, like, I think I learned a lot from him technique-wise. He kind of made me what the football player I am today because he kind of set the groundwork because I didn't really have a lot of football, you know, acumen and knowledge in terms of footwork and how to be an offensive lineman because I only played it maybe for like 6 or 7 games my senior year. So it wasn't like I've been playing O-line my whole life. So he took like a raw, talented kid and he kind of just molded me into like this savage pretty much. And I know like to this day, he's still been coaching. I bumped into him when I was in the NFL when he was just an O-line coach with the Browns. And like to this day, man, I still try to keep in touch with Coach DeLeon. He's probably like one of the biggest impacts on me as a football player that I've had. And yeah, man, he's just great.
Yeah, he is. I love the guy. He's a great guy to see at a clinic. He's so passionate.
Yeah, he's very passionate about O-line play, and he'll break it down to like a science to where you would look at it and be like, man, I never really thought about it in that light.
But don't sit in the front row because you're going up to demonstrate.
Oh no, front row of any football meeting is always the spot not to be.
Hey, Derek, take us back. Your what moment in your TP athletic career stood out to you? You may be the most proud of, or you know, on the field or on the court, I guess.
Oh, man,
Boss, you're getting this question.
Honestly,
so think about it.
I think for me, I wouldn't call out like a certain game or a moment, but I think the environment that Trinity-Pawling creates for the boys, and it was just like so much camaraderie. And it wasn't like, you know, you didn't really just have to focus on spending time with your teammates on the court or practice, hung out in the lounge, hung out in the dorms. Like it's the camaraderie that you can build and the brotherhood that you can build with the guys in the setting that TP allows is just something special that you don't really get a lot of places. And I think my biggest impact and experience that I got from Trinity-Pawling was just the relationships that I built. Like a lot of those guys that I went to school with are some of my best friends to this day.
That's awesome.
I'll probably say the same. I'm not gonna lie. Like a lot of it comes from just being with your brothers and stuff at the school. Like you live with them, you stay with them, you wake up in the morning, you see people on their worst days, the best days. So like me there, probably just being up from Harlem, being able to go to that school, just like being at hockey games and stuff like that was amazing to me because it was just like I probably never would have got interested in hockey or watching hockey. But just being there at the school setting, it was just always fun. Everybody would go. So definitely, like that was probably some of the best memories to me. It's besides like us playing, but it was just like the hockey games. I like those the most.
I'm gonna tell a hockey coach that, Oz. Did you guys take anatomy?
Yes, we did. I did.
I did.
Sure.
I tell kids all the time it's the biggest trap in the school. Yeah, everybody thinks Miss Tucci is pushover.
I actually love that. That was probably one of my favorite classes when I was in school.
Awesome. Hey, Derek. So I think it's so interesting when you have a couple guys on it. We've had a couple guys the last few weeks, and just to like how they kind of we talked about the basketball thing, but like Austria is basically embarking on a very similar path that you've been on. Like, what advice do you have for him as he kind of gets into his first camp and all those OTAs and all this stuff? Like what advice would you give to Austrian?
Uh, my advice I would give A is probably learn a good balance in terms of the speed that you do things at. I think my biggest thing was I didn't really take care of my body. I didn't really take care of my mind. It's probably because in my mind I was young. I figured I could run and do things all day, and you don't take into account like the environments that you're in. Like in the Carolinas, springtime training camp when you were in Spartanburg, it gets ridiculously hot, and I never hydrated properly. I wasn't drinking enough. I wasn't doing stuff to take care of my body enough. So I would always burn out too quickly as opposed to like older vets who've been through the game and they know how to pace themselves. They know how to take care of their body. They know how to play the game in a sense. So I think the biggest thing is to go in there and still keep the excitement, still play, fast, still do the things you do, but understand like at the pro level the pace that you have to learn in order to make it consistent, because it's very easy to have ebbs and flows in the pro game if you're not learning how to consistently take care of yourself. So I think the biggest advice I can give them is, one, stay in your playbook. Don't lose your playbook. You don't want that fine. Stay in your playbook. Yeah, you don't want to get that invoice for $10,000. But stay in your playbook. Take care of your body. Anything you got to do to take care of your body, always take care of your body. Hydrate, put the right stuff in your body, eat right, do all those things that's part of being a pro athlete. Because if you do it now, as you go along in your career, it becomes easier, and you'll have a lot of longevity as opposed to it just being a flash in the pan.
Sure. Austin, I know you're a dad now. It's AJ, right? Your little one?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
We got the inside track on him. Don't send him to Avon.
Don't send him to Avon?
Don't send him to
Eric
Avon.
has a little boy too.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I know you mentioned that earlier. So, what's your little boy's name, Derek?
His name's Kaysen, and
Kaysen. Awesome, man.
Yeah, he's about 3.5 feet, 40 pounds. He's only 2 years old.
We're on him too. Okay, I officially offered both. TP, roll Pride. So, you guys, how has fatherhood changed your perspective?
I'll let all start this.
All right, for me, I'd definitely say it's just been like a motivator. Definitely just like knowing you got to provide for them, make sure you always want the best for your family and stuff. But definitely just my son, just being around him more, especially now the school's over, I'm done with school. I'm able to be with him a lot. So it's just like seeing how much he watched me, he followed me and stuff. And just watching him grow, it just motivates you more.
Derek?
Your turn, Derek.
I mean, for me, I realized how much my son actually watches the things that I do as a parent. Especially when you have a young child, I think sometimes it falls on the fact that you think the little stuff that you do, kids don't really pay attention to or pick up on. And I realized, like it was for me with my parents, the easiest way to teach my son life lessons and show him the way of how to live and how to move is if I do it myself. So I kid just kind of put more of a sense of urgency in how I carry myself, how I present myself in public, how I, do things in my career to kind of leave somewhat of a legacy that give him something to look forward to and strive for. So it all became about legacy for me. So I think the biggest thing having a kid and becoming a parent just made me more aware of my legacy and how people view me and how I view myself.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting thing because our kids are always down at the fields, and they've single-handedly destroyed 2 pop-up dummies between the kids, which Mr. Foster's real happy about. But I had a moment like that where I was in a huddle and I was getting after the guys pretty good, and I dropped an F-bomb, and I looked right down, and Lincoln's right next to me, and which is not, you got to teach him about the world too, but it's, you don't want him to go ahead and it's just an interesting thing. So, but yeah, so what, is there anything that you miss about Trinity-Pawling, or that when you were here, that maybe, if you got to talk to your young self, that you would have changed, anything like that? Why don't you
Probably would have.
Oh, Derek, go ahead.
Me for simple, I probably would have told myself to cut my hair a lot sooner because I got a lot of headaches at TP while I had that big afro and those braids.
Austria, what about you?
Me, definitely not Coach Richards' history class. Not that. Definitely Fideli's English class, though. I miss Fideli English class, but I probably just would have. If anything, I probably would have ate better. I would have ate better, definitely. Like, ate better. I used to just kill everything. Like the cave, I used to go in there. Yeah, too much cave.
The cave was.
I used to be in the cave every night.
Religiously.
Oh, we talk a lot about this year. We talked a lot this year about like redefining success, and you're the one that's setting the parameters for that. And we said we're not going to be judged by what we always, by what we do on Saturday afternoons. We're going to be judged by everything we do. And so when guys, 2 guys like you guys get on with us, to me, this is successful. You guys are super enthusiastic about coming back. Austrian, when you got named the Chucky Mullins Courage Award winner, I was crying, which again is not an easy thing to do, to get me to cry. I cry every time I publicly speak. But that kind of thing to me is what we're talking about. It's just 2 great guys, just caring about Trinity-Pawling and giving back. And again, like that to me is success for us, and a lot of these young guys. But we got a few minutes here, but maybe we'll go with the younger guy, Austrian, and then we'll go to Derek, and then we'll take any questions. And Austrian, by the way, Derek's line about the afro, like you're the one that invented the doctor rule with the goatee. You can keep.
No, man. What happened was
there's been kids after you, Austin. There's been kids after you that pulled that. They heard the legend.
I shaved one time. I had to go through the same problem with my other boarders. I shaved one time. I was like, I can't shave. I'm gonna break out. And it was like, you gotta shave. And I was like, all right. Broke out. So then I think it was Hutch. And TP. He was like, nah, shit. It went for a while. I'm not gonna lie. He was persistent. I was like, he just don't give up. And then I finally cut it, and they saw my face. I was like, I told you I was gonna break out. But I always look for the loopholes, man. Like I found some
you had that one, and you were such a nice guy that nobody ever cared. But you had the
Ugg shoes that look like slippers, and every time somebody asked, I was like, look, they're on the website of shoes.
Gimmer's taking notes. Yeah. So, like, I'm gonna open it up for questions in a second, but there's Geratucci. But I'm gonna make you go first. But if you had some advice to give to these guys, you're the coach for the day. You're the coach for the moment. Give them some advice. You've been around. You've seen a lot of things. Talk to them. What would you want to say to this team?
I'd definitely say just be a sponge with everything. Like, especially like as a younger player, I know when I was younger, it's just like you go through phases where you're not trying to hear certain stuff. You just like they just talking like everybody says this, but it's just like definitely be a sponge. Be especially to try to perfect your craft. Just like always stay persistent with trying to get better every day. Just work on the little things. Especially like me and Derek, we play line, so it's like it's not really once you learn, it's not too much you can do, but it's just like you got to make sure you're always attacking everything that you can. So it's just like definitely do that and use social media. Everybody on social media, so just like watch some of the pro athletes, see what they do. I do that a lot. I watch a lot of film. Just film helps you a lot.
Derek?
Most advice I could probably give young guys is try to not just use coaching on the field, but use it for everything that you do off the field. Because football, especially the game of football, the things that you learn in terms of, the intangible discipline, being on time and being accountable and learning to work with teammates, learning how to, thrive individually as well as a team. All those qualities are stuff that you can use in the real world outside of the football field. So I think try to take the coaching and the lessons that you learn on the field, apply them to everything that you do off the field in terms of school, in terms of, relationships that you build outside of just your teammates. It's great life lessons that you can always use regardless of how you get and throughout the things that you move through in life. You learn great life lessons in the game of football. So take all the coaching that you get now and try to apply it to everything outside of the game.
Hey, if anybody has any questions, anybody can either chat it or let me know, raise your hand or something. Derek and Austrian, we appreciate all the time. Again, like I know it's crazy, been crazy. You're up in New York, now you're in Arizona, and all the stuff going on with you this week, and you guys taking care of your families and everything. We appreciate it. It means a great deal to us, and we love you guys both. Please get back to campus when the world opens up again, so I can give you guys a big hug. Derek, I don't know you that well, but I'll still hug you. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? All right. Hey, I'm gonna let you guys go. We're gonna sign off. It's just about just over 9. I keep trying to tell myself, like, give these guys a break, like an hour is good. But again, man, future success always. Keep in touch. Go get it. Derek, thank you for taking care of our Montrealer, Herji Mayala, who was the Austrian's teammate. We appreciate that. I know
he was down here not too long ago.
What's that?
He came to visit me not too long ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, sidebar, yeah, for all the athletes and parents and everybody. I'm always accessible on social media, so if there's any questions, anything you want to know, you want to build a rapport, especially with the young athletes, man, I'm always open to talking to everybody and building relationships. So any advice, anything you need, you can always reach out to me. I'll always write back, man. So just throw that out there.
Awesome, you guys. Thank you so much.
Derek, thanks. Austrian, thanks. You guys were awesome.
Thank you.
Austrian, good luck, man. Derek, good to see you again.
Appreciate it.
Good luck. Stay safe.
Y'all too. Stay safe.
Best of luck to you guys.
Appreciate it.
Roll Pride.
Roll Pride.